Throughout video game history, the time-tested formula of a hero rescuing the princess has always worked. But what if the actual princess decided to rescue herself instead? In this video, I'll be talking about Video Game Fables, a game about Aru and her friends changing up the script in this fun pixelated RPG that takes a lot of inspiration from games like Paper Mario, Super Mario RPG, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and so much more. There's a particular game that this game feels a bit close to home for me, a PS3 hidden gem in fact. That game is called 3D Game Hero, and it has that retro pixelated art style that I love so much. I mean, the protagonist is shaped like actual pixels in a 3D environment. Video Game Fables reminds me a lot of that game. The story in Video Game Fables dares to be a bit different. Think of it this way. When there's a princess in video games, there's always a chance that they will be captured and locked away in a castle. Princess Peach, locked away in a castle. The Legend of Zelda, being trapped in a castle. Princess Elise, well, she just needs a lot of therapy. But in Video Game Fables, Princess Aru is tired of being the damsel in distress. She takes matters into her own hands and doesn't need to wait for any hero. Set in an abandoned RPG world who has not had a player in quite some time, Princess Aru decides to free herself from the villain's prison. It causes complete destruction in the script of the story by someone calling herself the Forsaken Princess. It's up to Aru, the world's princess, Nate, an NPC inspiring to be a hero, and Tator, the villain's son, to get things back to normal once again or change the course of the story and rewrite the script. Video Game Fables has your typical townspeople. Everyone is there to help you on your journey. Some NPCs are more sarcastic to you than others. If this is your first time playing a traditional RPG, then you might be confused on what you need to do. Luckily, the game does a great job with its tutorials, and it even gives you a list on what you need to do in order to progress. This game is a traditional RPG in the sense that it's turn-based, and you have to upgrade your weapons and choose the right attacks. Your team could choose between specific weapons, and each individual weapon has its own benefits. This game really emphasizes getting critical hit damage points during battle. How come? Because it then allows you to use your special moves, which does more damage. Some of these special attacks have elemental properties to them, like fire, ice, stuff of that nature. Just like in Pokemon, if you choose the right type of elemental attack on a specific enemy, it will be very effective on them, or the opposite. Another thing about Video Game Fables is that even though the game is a lighthearted traditional RPG type of game, you could traverse through the world and avoid enemies which appear on screen, kind of like an action RPG in this sense. In a traditional turn-based RPG, usually enemy encounters would happen sporadically, but not in this game. You could choose when and where to fight these enemies. But let me advise you on something though. You will know when exactly you are in the wrong area at the wrong time during your playthrough. When I was exploring throughout the world and I came across enemies who had massive amount of HP, but this balloon dude, who I swear to God, wanted to pop a cap in my ass. Eventually I had to flee from battle, and unfortunately when you flee, you lose about 75 coins, which is not bad in comparison to previous RPG games that I have played in the past. In those particular games, whenever you wanted to flee, you had a 50-50% chance that you would be successful, and most of the time I was not. What makes this game somewhat easier is the fact that there is teleporters throughout the whole game, and what I would do is just head over to the teleporter and head back to the town to restore my health and buy some more potions. Then later on, I would go back to the place where I needed to be and go grind for more EXP. This kind of defeats the risk versus the reward type of grind that traditional RPGs used to put me through, but that does not mean that Video Game Fables is an easy game. Enemy AI in this game is pretty top notch, and some won't give you an easy pass to defeat them. You can look through a book called the Monstrocomicon, which allows you to view all the monsters you've encountered throughout your journey. You and your team have the ability to jump in certain areas in the game, and some parts feel very reminiscent to Super Mario RPG, which is one of my favorite games ever. The unfortunate part is that even though you're able to jump over obstacles, you can also get hurt by these obstacles as well, so don't get hurt as much. Don't forget to check out your inventory, because along the way you'll be collecting items and crystals/gems, which you could trade along with some coins to the alchemist, who will turn those items into abilities which you can use for combat. There's also a blacksmith that will upgrade your weapons. He gives you many weapons to choose from, which I thought added some variety in terms of gameplay. Most importantly, if you look at your team's stats, you can use your EXP to level up everyone as well as their abilities. You can always reverse that if you want to save the EXP for something else, which is very good. You're not really stuck to a decision, and there is some flexibility with how you customize your party members. The music in Video Game Fables is done by Lev C Studio, and I gotta say, it's remarkable. The battle theme music has a joyful tone to it, which really aligns well with the Paper Mario kind of music that we know and love. The fact that this game was done by one developer just amazes me. It has the ingredients to be a fun and memorable experience for people who are really into RPGs and want a fun experience with a story that tries something different opposed to a plot that has been done to death a million times. Like before, if the story isn't about the hero saving the princess, then it's the hero having amnesia.
Right, it's all my fault.
If it isn't about amnesia, then it's probably about the protagonist traveling through time to undo the things that caused the destruction of Earth. Anyway, I highly recommend this game to RPG enthusiasts. Even for casual players, you could try out the demo right now and see if you like the game for yourself. But that's just my impression on Video Game Fables. I hope it gives you a better understanding of what this game really is. I want to thank everyone for watching, I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please click on these other ones. I definitely appreciate the support. My name is Spirit, and I will see you all on the next one. Take care.